So we just saw Us, me and my buddy Lincoln. Lincoln, what did you think about it?
I thought it was wonderful, my guy.
Great. I also thought it was wonderful.
Just wonderful?
No, I thought it was fantastic.
Fantastic, he said.
Speaking of fantastic, I have to say outright,
yeah,
Get Out was better.
I agree with that.
And I think I just wanted to say that first and foremost, just simply because, I mean, that's what everybody's going to compare it to.
Because it's the only other thing he's made.
Yeah.
Other than Key and Peele, but you can't,
that's not comparable.
It's not comparable.
I mean, they're both thriller films, and they both definitely have that Jordan Peele cinematography style.
Of course.
You can just kind of tell it's the same guy making the movie when you watch this movie. But it doesn't really stack up, in my opinion.
Doesn't stack up?
I mean, it's a great film. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's a really good film.
It's a great film.
It's just that, in comparison to, such a masterpiece like Get Out,
rewatchable immediately.
Yeah, like
I watched it a bunch already.
Like, as soon as I went home, as soon as I left the theater, Get Out, like, I couldn't stop talking about it, and nobody could stop talking about Get Out when
for
it came
a long
out.
time.
So
I'm still talking about it.
Yeah, like we're still talking about it right now. So what's crazy to me is that here comes along a film that I feel like is, for people that were expecting it to be like another Get Out project, yeah, like something that was either going to be exactly the same or was just going to be like even better. Like, I feel like a lot of people are going to expect this movie to be just as good or even better than.
I'd say it's as good. I just happen to like Get Out more.
I guess so. If you wanna go,
I would say they're about as good as each other. I think they would get the same rating.
I would actually say that in like in a perfect world, maybe, but we all know it doesn't exist. So I feel like it is a great film. Us is a great film. It's just in terms of how it relates to what I think is just an all-around better film in Get Out, it lacks the points necessary to match up to it. Like, there are just some things about Us that are done better in something like Get Out.
Yeah.
And
I think this one is more of a philosophical film than Get Out was. Get Out was more of an isolated story where this one thing happened in this one area, and there might have been more connecting to it to other areas or something like that, but this was more of an isolated incident that created a cool little story that wraps up tight, and it's a great film which to Get Out. And this one is more like it talks about all of the tropes of horror, and does them new and does them how they could have been.
Like, you actually feel like you're watching a horror movie when you watch this movie.
Yeah, because Get Out's more of like a.
It's like more in your head.
Yeah, it's more of a thriller. And this one's actually like a gory horror film at heart.
Yes, it is like Get Out. It's not as good as Get Out, but there you go.
I think it's a wonderfully crafted film. Crafted. It's a wonderfully crafted film, and I think that it holds up to Jordan Peele's name.
Mm-hmm.
It continues his legacy.
Yeah.
It does exactly what he set out to do, is make a really good horror movie that we will be rewatching for years, trying to find every little Easter egg.
Absolutely. Right now we're in the spoiler-free section. We're going to try and keep it spoiler-free from here on. If you've already seen the film, feel free to skip to the spoiler section if you just want to hear us talk about those parts. But Lincoln.
Yes, sir?
Please. Carry us the plot.
The plot?
Yes.
It thickens.
Ooh.
So, plot starts. A young girl and her family go to a boardwalk.
Adelaide is the main character's name.
I am very bad with the names.
I didn't even remember when I walked out of the theater.
They don't really do a good job of that.
The only character's name I remembered when I walked out of the theater was Jason.
Yeah, because they scream it a bunch.
Yeah.
Jason!
But anyway, Adelaide and her family. It's basically like this family that they go to Santa Cruz, and they just happen to meet a family, in the woods, one night at their vacation home.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's not really in the woods. It's more like it's like adjacent to a lake.
Yeah, so it's kind of like a rich person, like
yeah, it's like a cabin almost
kind of neighborhood. Yeah, so and then this family like starts terrorizing them, and then we come to find out that this family
looks exactly
exactly like them, and it coins the famous phrase now. It's us.
It's us.
And so that's basically the plot. Like saying anything else beyond that is getting into spoiler territory, I feel.
But we could talk on how it is
how it is in general.
Yeah. So as versus Get Out, more of a horror film, more gory. There's the same type of violence that's in Get Out, just happens more frequently. It seems.
It seems like there's more of an emphasis on,
but more comical as well.
Danger and yes. Very, very funny film.
Unintentional comedy.
And also very intentional comedy that works splendidly.
It is a wonderful mix of the both.
I think that I don't think I've ever seen a director who worked previously as a comedian work as a horror director.
I don't think it's been done before.
And actually make it work.
If it has been done before, leave a comment.
Let us know. Yes, please.
Because I would like to see some more of that.
I would like to.
Unless it's a comedy horror, because those are different.
Yeah, that's a completely different genre. This, you could argue, maybe teeters on that edge, but it definitely has the overall tone of being a pretty serious thriller in general.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would exactly call it a horror film because
it's more a slasher.
It's more of a film that's kind of like supposed to be disturbing than it is like scary.
Yeah,
because like
it's like a mix of
horror.
It's like a slasher film meets a psychological thriller.
Yeah, like it's like
slasher violence.
Nothing's really coming out at you.
There's not a lot of jump scares.
There's not really a lot of like build up to. There's not really it's not really a roller coaster ride.
Not at all.
Scares. It's more of just like a continuous like flowing down a river of terrifying crap. So it's more. So I describe it as more of a disturbing film than I do scary.
But you never really feel scared.
You never really.
You're seeing scary stuff, and you're trying to see all of the Easter eggs and spot out all the little things you can, and then there's funny bits, and then it just gets you off track, and you're just like, I like this film. It's got me entertained, but I'm asking too many questions to enjoy it.
I guess that is like a downside if you think about it. Like,
that's the only downside.
Like if you go into it trying to look at it,
because we were dissecting it as we were watching it.
Yeah, pretty much. Like you and I were constantly, because we watched it together, so we were constantly leaning over in like the theater, just being like,
oh, "This is about to happen."
Yeah, like this is gonna happen, or we were constantly like calling what was gonna happen in the shots or the scenes.
And then sometimes we were wrong and we got surprised.
Yeah, sometimes there was that. Sometimes there were a lot of scenes. For example, like there's a scene with a boat that they film it, and there's like a whole spiel with it, and there's like a couple of throwaway jokes that are just going to come into play later, and there's like
the classic Jordan Peele,
and there's multiple shots like that throughout the whole film, almost to a point where it's like you don't even have to like actively sit there and question it like we were. It's almost like in your face about how obvious it's foreshadowing certain events.
But of course, hindsight is 20/20.
I mean, hindsight's 20/20. But I'm saying, like, sitting there watching it, I'm developing this mentality of
what's going to happen next.
I'm actively like searching and finding the clues that lead to the next scene.
Exactly.
Which is cool. It's fun. I'm not saying that it's not. It's just that it's that sometimes
when you set a tone.
Yeah, while it's fun, I feel like it can kind of break the immersion a little bit. What do you think about the acting?
I thought the acting was really, really well.
I think this is
the crazy ones, especially.
Oh yeah, definitely. What's amazing is that like all the crazy people in the movie are the same actors as like the non-crazy people.
So you get to see both sides.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. It's actually really cool. I actually like some of the family members. I think some of the family members of the main cast are actually stronger actors acting as the crazy people.
Exactly.
Which is hilarious to me.
Because it seems like they're doing a much better job as being crazy.
I feel like
that's just more fun.
Yeah, because the dad, you've got like a big old like stiff. He's like a stick in the mud kind of dad, sort of. Like he's your typical like dad joke kind of dad. He just like pushes up his glasses all the time.
He does a dab on him.
He does the dabs. And
you know you're a cool dad if you dab on your kids.
And his evil twin is just a caveman, basically.
Yeah.
And then you've got you've got so many other good actors. I think the son of the family. This was, I think, his introduction.
Actor. Yeah,
to
it's
an
introducing so and so. I forget his name.
I don't remember what his real name is, but he was a really good actor too. And I can't say that about many child actors.
Yeah, it's hard. But when you see one that's selling this part,
yeah, like he's doing really good.
Like there's parts where I was just like, do they have like a stand-in for this kid?
Yeah, and because a lot of his really good scenes come down to just moments where the camera holds on an expression he had.
Yeah,
and you're supposed to get so much information just from these expressions.
And that's a lot of what Jordan Peele does in Get Out and in this.
And he does a really good job of conveying it. Like this 10-year-old kid is doing a really good job.
You don't always need dialogue to sell a good scene.
No.
That's my favorite part about Jordan Peele is since we can't get into spoilers at the moment, and the Get Out as a comparable for Jordan Peele's style, when she's literally just says no for like a good page. She just goes no, and a tear rolls down her eye. Yeah. That says so much more than anything she could have said.
Yeah, that was freaky.
That's the best acting in any of the Jordan Peele movies, but there's a lot comparable to these new movies, but we can't get into the spoilers yet.
Right. So I guess one last thing, before we get into like our final verdicts on the movie, was I really like the soundtrack to the film.
Wonderful.
And that's not just because of the amazing contemporary modern music that it has. Not contemporary, but like the rap music, the R&B songs. Those are really good songs.
Choices.
And they play really well into the story.
Of course.
None of it ever really feels like it's overplayed or in your face. Like when they start playing, like they play NWA. When they start playing NWA, like
it's perfect timing.
It fits perfectly with the scene that it's in.
The soundtrack by Michael Alb, very good.
It's great timing.
Great soundtrack.
Stupid TV never stays on. I guess there's really nothing left to say about it other than it's a really great film. We think you guys should go see it.
And definitely free marketing.
Yeah. So out of like 10, what would you rate this movie?
About an 8 or a 9.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'd say a solid 9.
I'm definitely at a solid 8. I'm at a solid 8.
I think I liked it a little bit more than you did.
Yeah, I think so because you admit that this film is. You think this film is as good as Get Out?
I was the first person when we were walking out of the theater, out of me and you. I was like, I like to Get Out more. That was the first thing I said when it stopped.
Yeah.
But as I've had time to think about it and stuff, I would say that they are on the same field.
Okay. See, I just think that they're just for me, there are just a few things this film does.
Some of it falls apart.
But
I think that's just easier. I think that's just more of Get Out had a lot more time to gestate.
The mythos in this is and I think that's just the issue any writer has when they take on something that's presented on such a larger scale than Get Out was.
Yeah.
So inevitably,
as I said earlier, it's more of an isolated incident.
Yeah, inevitably the mythos is gonna fall apart more under scrutiny because they don't exactly elaborate on a lot of stuff in the movie.
Yeah,
they explain. I feel like in this film they
actually explain more in this.
They explain a lot. They get it out right out of the gate. They just in 30 minutes in,
your face.
They tell you what's going on, what's happening. And then they play it smart. They don't tell you everything right at once. They don't dump everything on you.
They just give you they just dump a bunch of breadcrumbs.
They give you a taste.
Yeah.
And then they lead you along the rest of the movie.
I felt like I was getting led down a path the whole time.
Yeah, just constantly waiting until the next scene that finally reveals.
I felt like I was just going
piece.
So in the trailer, you do kind of see that the little girl is in a dark room with mirrors.
Right.
I felt like I was that little girl this entire movie.
Right.
Yeah, you're just walking down this whole hallway of mirrors, and you're just like, I don't know what I'm looking at sometimes because it's just me.
Yeah.
I like the duality subtext.
Oh yeah. Honestly, if you want to get down to it, I feel like
deep.
The content in this film is a bit more packed. This film was much more packed with philosophical content.
You had to hit it right out.
Theoretical content, with so much content that not so much to the point where it outweighs the ideas and philosophies Get Out had.
Of course.
It's just that this film kind of like throws a lot at you, and surprisingly, a lot of it sticks. So
yeah,
I stick with my 8 out of 10 simply because it falls to its trappings that any film would, any normal film would. I'm here, guys.
Give it a 9, better.
No, right
lift
here.
up one more. Lift that pinky up a little
Can't
bit.
do it.
That's ridiculous. I'm all chips in on Jordan Peele for the next 10 years.
Same.
He's got his fingers in everything. I'm ready for the Twilight Zone.
Oh yeah.
I already saw the trailer for it.
I'm ready.
Looks great.
I'm psyched.
He's producing a lot of other people's horror movies and other film projects and stuff like that.
Makes me happy.
He's going all over the place. Now, Keegan-Michael Key.
I don't know what he's doing. I have no idea.
Step it up a little, guy.
Yeah, I don't know.
Step it up a little bit.
He's been. He's made one Hollywood blockbuster, I think, like with him as one of the main actors, and he had to make it with Jordan Peele. So,
are you talking about Keanu?
Yeah,
a great film. Great film. I don't care what you have to say about him. Great film.
Okay.
I love Keanu.
Anyway, I haven't seen it, so I can't.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
You're gonna talk about it?
I'm not talking. Just anyway, before that happens, I think we're gonna go ahead.
Let's do a Keanu review.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Is that
No.
You like the Demolition Man, but you won't watch Keanu.
Do not bring up the Demolition
I'm gonna
Man.
bring up the Demolition Man until we do a video about it.
We're gonna do a video about it like after this.
No.
Like yes.
Right after this?
Maybe.
I got you.
We still have to watch it.
I watched half of it. Terrible.
Oh no.
It's
He did. He said I
unwatchable.
can't wait to watch the rest of it. He's like, I'm so excited. I want to.
The
know how it
three
is.
seashells, guy! We haven't even got to there and I already hate it. Oh my god.
Okay.
Wesley Snipes? Blade ain't gonna pay for the taxes?
Stop. we're gonna go ahead. Shift over to the spoiler section right now. So we're starting the spoiler section. I'm whipping out my cellular device right now.
Get it there, because you got notes.
Because I spent pretty much my entire day at work today just working on some notes I've been writing.
That is some heavy note taking.
Well, it's on my phone, so it's like I don't have a choice. I just wanted to start off by saying that the spoilers, the main spoiler. I just want to go ahead and
let's just talk about the story.
I just want to go ahead and just skip ahead, reveal the rest of the plot, and then just get into the stuff I really want to talk about.
Because we want to get into the nitty-gritties.
Exactly. I got a whole list right here of stuff I need to talk about. Basically, the whole rest of the story is that we find out that the family is not. It's not just an isolated incident where it's like
everybody's got one.
Everybody's
got a doppelganger.
Basically, like every human being that's existed
America
since like the 1980s. And then a little bit like beyond that, because obviously
that's just the time that we have,
right?
The references,
and so every single one of these people, they're clones.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out there's like this huge
tethers.
Yeah, they call them the tethers, and it's basically this huge government conspiracy where the government tried to create clones
to puppet master everybody.
Because the way it kind of takes on a supernatural approach, mixed in with a scientific approach, because it tries to say that the reason that this would have theoretically worked in the government's mind was that you can create another body similar to the original, but you can't recreate the soul. So the two entities that now exist with the same identity now have to share the same soul. So basically, when a character down below, like in the underground, because there's nothing but underground tunnels. That's like where they all are, like a bunch of abandoned underground tunnels all across America.
Which they put in the very first scene.
They
just wrote it at the very first thing you see is it says there's all of these abandoned places underground in America, but nobody knows why they're and there's a lot of them that just go unused and were abandoned. And I was waiting the entire movie for why that came into play.
Right towards the end,
is right at the end.
It was amazing. But so now all these people are clones, and then we find out that the main character, like the final twist of the movie, that we find out that the main character, Adelaide, this entire time was not the original Adelaide. She is actually the character that we've been with for the majority of the film. The entire film
is a tethered
is a tether. Is originally a tether. She's originally from the underground.
And she was smart enough to get up there.
Yeah, in one instance, in like a coincidence, I guess, she happened to meet the original Adelaide all the way back in 1986 in the Hall of Mirrors. And then switched her out, like choked her out, like breaks her vocal cords.
And that's the reason why she sounds all...
Yeah. And then
and
it makes sense. It's like why she's the only one that actually speaks.
Yeah, because all the other ones just scream at you.
Yeah. And I
didn't understand that.
And I was trying to like pay attention to the rest of the film. I was like, is there another one of them that speaks?
No.
And so
the closest one was the dad boy.
That's basically like the majority of the twists. Like the people from the underground, the original Adelaide, who is, I guess, impersonating a tether or was forced to be a tether.
Pretty much. Because she didn't grow up any.
Yeah, she technically, she wasn't born down there, but she grew up as like a child down there. Up until, she was an adult,
that's all she knew.
And she had her own family, blah, blah, blah.
And that's why the whole movie, the Adelaide that we were introduced to as the original one originally, is like, I felt she's coming for me, I know.
Yeah.
Because she knew she put that bitch down there.
Yeah. And so it was, it's this funny, not funny, I don't know why I said funny.
It's kind of funny.
It's a funny film, but basically Adelaide leads this, I guess, she heralds this prophecy. She spearheads this movement basically to get all the people underground, above ground, kill all the people,
originals,
kill all the originals, and then to make like some kind of statement. It's just a statement, and this is something that I was having a hard time with in the movie, where I was just like, this is kind of just stupid.
It's kind of
because it's not tactical. Nothing about it is strategic or tactical.
It's not.
It's literally just to be an artistic.
It's the most
philosophical, artistic part of the film. And
it kind of comes from, that was the last thing that she saw on TV.
Yeah, it's definitely from the Hands Across America commercial she saw when she was younger. And she's trying to like create a perverted version of it.
Yeah, but she also had no idea that it actually failed in real life.
Which is hilarious.
I'd never heard of it before.
It's funny because it's
the only thing that good came out of it is there's a music video with C-3PO and Robin Williams.
Yeah.
Incredible music video if you haven't seen it.
I have not seen it.
Look it up.
No idea.
It's good stuff.
That's basically like all the main plot stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and
get into the good parts.
I'm gonna get into the good stuff because like all this, like in the first part of this video, we were talking about like how layered this film is. So
it's like an onion.
So I've got like a few examples here of like different themes. Like the main two themes that I found in this film were just like themes of duality and themes of surface versus
what we keep underneath.
Yeah, like what's face value versus what's underneath the surface. What's underneath all that? Yeah, like all the meaningful true self is what I'm going to keep referring to it as. But like the first one that I put down here was the Thriller shirt, because Michael Jackson's the character Michael Jackson plays in the Thriller video is a character whose true self is a werewolf. Like he masks, he puts on this facade that he's like a cool football player or whatever, even though he's Michael Jackson.
It's a good video.
And then he turns into a monstrous werewolf.
And that's got layers in itself.
Yeah, because if you think about it, you've got the main characters in the film, which are normal people, but they're the self of them that is underneath the surface are ravenous monsters as well. And then
you start to root for the bad guy in this movie.
In some aspects. Mm-hmm. Sort of.
Because in what I've read and what I've witnessed as watching it is it's kind of like the tethered are all the people that are forgotten.
Right.
And that's kind of what the Bible references, Jeremiah 11:11.
Yeah.
Kind of goes into.
I want to go ahead and reference that because that was a big part of the film, was the 11:11 verse.
Talk about it all the time.
Because it's constant throughout the film. Not just the verse, but just
the number 11.
11, 11, or 11, 11.
11.
It's I don't have the verse on hand. But the context of the Bible verse is that it's God speaking to the Jews who have at that point in time, I guess at that point in the story, abandoned him to worship false idols, basically. And so in this instance, again, it's the abandoned coming back to I guess mess with the people that abandoned them.
Big thing that Jordan Peele is trying to press is that people that are forgotten and pushed away are usually the other in most instances are usually the ones that just nobody talks about, and even if they accomplished whatever they accomplished and whatnot.
Right.
So it's not America if they don't include the other.
Right.
Because that's what even the tethered say, we're American.
Yeah, and that was a very poignant line too, because I think it definitely calls back to the Hands Across America,
Movement.
not scandal, but movement. Yeah,
because it didn't. It's just that it didn't rake in.
It was just a bust.
It was one of the biggest busts. It made the money back that they spent, and that's it.
That's it.
So it was just they did it, and it didn't do anything.
It's crazy.
Because nobody thinks that, oh yeah, America's just one big flat place that we could just walk. It's not a map. There's mountains and trees.
There are a couple of obstacles we're gonna have to hop over here, like the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, the tether didn't care though. They made it happen.
Yeah, here's the thing about the tethered movement is that unlike something like zombies, you can kill these people.
Yeah, because they're just flesh and blood clones.
Yeah. Going back to Michael Jackson real quick before I move on to my next example, is that Michael Jackson is another person who is plagued with, on-stage personas versus his real-life antics. Yeah. Also, the fact that his visual appearance was literally his unfortunate medical condition caused his appearance to literally change, which is it's sad, it's unfortunate, but that's also, I guess,
it's part of the reference.
Yeah, it's part of the reference. It's a pretty deep reference.
And it's layered.
And then this one I thought was funny was that when I thought about it was the candy apple that she had.
Yeah.
Just that it's the syrup covering the fruit.
I see. Yeah. That's actually a big one.
Yeah. I just thought about it. I don't know why. It was just something small.
And it's a reference that Jordan Peele's also remaking Candyman.
Oh, there you go, guys. And then the next one I have here, the mascot for the Hall of Mirrors, that was originally a Native American,
switches to a wizard.
Switches to Merlin. Switches over to Merlin's forest walk or whatever, forest adventure.
Do you think that's some whitewashing?
Could be. I kind of thought that maybe there was some political in there because I know in recent years, typically things that were franchised based on Native American culture have been repurposed and rebranded to not be so offensive. So I don't know if that's a call to that.
It could
or if it's, and I also kind of just think it's part of the whole surface beneath the layer thing. Maybe something happened,
and that's
there,
the first thing she looks at.
Yeah, it's obvious. Even though time has passed and
it's
things
still
have
there.
changed, underneath all that, it's still the same place. Her life changed. And then after that, immediately after that scene is the frisbee landing right on top of the blue circles on the beach towel.
Incredible.
That's one of the few instances where I'm that's right in your face.
Yeah.
You can't miss that.
Exactly.
Even the characters
so can't believe it.
What a metaphor.
What a metaphor. It's a good omen.
And then there's the whole rabbits thing. Rabbits being...
Jordan Peele says rabbits are the scariest thing.
Rabbits are pretty terrifying. Have you seen that? I don't know if... It's I don't want to talk about it.
What?
It's dumb. It's I don't remember what it's called. It's some movie with rabbits where it's just a bunch of giant rabbits going around killing people.
I've never heard of this.
It's pretty goofy. I'll show it to you later. But,
that's good stuff. Leave a link in the description.
Yeah. Rabbits being creatures known for multiplying and tunneling, This is likely a parallel to the tethers that are duplicates and also live underground. So, that one was probably
some
also
real bookworm stuff right there.
That one was probably also pretty obvious too.
Yeah.
Just because why else rabbits? Just
they eat them.
Because they eat them. Yeah, whatever.
They multiply a lot.
One thing about the rabbits is how did the rabbits survive down there?
See one of those.
Because it doesn't seem like the tethers were smart enough,
right,
to feed them, to conscious. Maybe because they had Adelaide, who was human, sort of at least child level intelligence, conscious enough to be able to make decisions. Maybe she could have organized that somehow.
Because she obviously organized hands.
Yeah, she obviously organized billions of dumbasses to go out and create and kill a bunch of people, create mass murder.
Of course.
So, anyway. all the main characters have masks they hide behind. Now, this is something I was thinking to myself the entire time. Like, maybe the tethers are their true selves. It's like what they are when you just strip everything that they put up as fronts away from them. And I kind of was thinking that's how it was for all the tethers.
Yeah.
We don't really get to know like a lot of the other tethers that are introduced. With the main family of tethers that are introduced to us, we do have a few things we can kind of look at here. The father hides his shortcomings behind intellectual bravado.
Yes.
I kind of pick up on that. Like, he's always pushing up his glasses. He's always talking about like really materialistic, like
making jokes.
Yeah, like just goofy stuff. And then his counterpart, like I said earlier, is a complete caveman.
Yeah.
You know, like it's it's funny. Like when he actually tries to use the glasses,
he does it and he looks normal for a few seconds,
and then he just takes them out.
Yeah, he's like, fuck this.
Yeah, like literally just showing, you know, screw that front. This is who I am.
Yeah.
That's the kind of vibe I picked up off that. The daughter hides behind her shell of teenage angst
and her phone.
Yeah,
headphones.
Just kind of like that whole like setup. A lot of like, I guess young teenagers like have developed where it's just kind of like this sort of wall they build around themselves intentionally, just to kind of like maintain this persona of I'm cool, I'm tough, I don't need you, anything like that. Like I don't need to smile, I don't need to look happy. Or
like I got Instagram to look happy.
Yeah, and then her double, which I noted this. I thought this was really interesting that how
the double smiles.
The double smiles the entire time. And earlier in the film, her dad was like, "You need to smile more."
Yeah. And
so that line, I was just really interested that came back to play.
Do you know what my the biggest part that's for me?
What?
Is the daughter, they're telling her that she needs to do like the cross country or track or whatever she's doing.
Yeah.
She doesn't do it because she's got this front up that she's got to be on her phone and do all of that.
Like it's not.
And then it's not important. And then she sucks at running.
Yeah.
And the other one, without all those fronts, just goes.
Can like catch up to cars.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
All the physical ability she could have if she just stopped being, a teenager. With
the son hides behind a literal mask.
The entire movie. All of the best scenes he's got his mask on.
Yeah, and even has some notable hiding places early on in the film. Like I just kind of
callbacks.
Yeah, I kind of took notice how there were some scenes earlier in the film when they were first getting to the house.
Yeah.
That there was just some scenes where he was just literally going around hiding. I kind of picked up that
he was good at it.
He was a little bit of a scamp, you know. And then of course his double was literally just running on all fours the entire time.
That was amazing. Do you know what my favorite acting part with the kid was?
What's that?
He's whenever he's sitting next to the mom and the mom's explaining it, and he's just acting like a cat.
Yeah,
he's like rubbing his head.
Yeah,
that was the part where I was like, do they have a double? Because this kid's like really good at pretending to be a cat right now.
I mean, hard to tell sometimes because he is really good and sometimes.
Yeah, I just think he is a good actor.
Where was I? Oh yeah, the mom was the last one, and the mother is hiding behind the facade that she's the real Adelaide.
Yeah,
that we find out towards the end, which is why I wanted to wait until we got to the spoiler section to really get to that. And there's like others, that really delve into those. Like you can find other instances where there's a lot of surface underneath the surface,
of course,
examples. Then I've also got some, themes of duality examples, like the other major theme that I consider. Obviously throughout the entire film, there's heavy use of mirrors and like reflections. Like you couldn't go, I feel like 10 scenes without there being a shot specifically focused on a mirror
or like a window.
Yeah, just basically like anything. Like there's the scene where. There's the Hall of Mirrors, obviously. There's the scene where she's sitting in the child's like psych ward, not ward, but like psych room. And she's watching her parents talk to the psychiatrist through a mirror.
Yeah.
There's that
when she gets her head smashed on the glass table and she's looking at the reflection. You can see both of their faces, sort of.
We already talked about 11/11, and just sort of like obviously, it's 11 and it's 11. 11 itself is 1 and 1. And then some people think that 11/11 is supposed to be like one number for each of the family members.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It could be.
You can make that argument, I think. Then you've got the twins. Like the white families.
Yeah.
Twins. I love how like there were so many jokes in this movie where they were like, man, that's white people crap. Knock that out. White people do that stuff, man.
That's because there's not that many movies about a black family.
I love it. It's refreshing.
It is. It's nice to take.
Because I'm not gonna lie, guys. Yes, I am white. I get sick of the white cliches too. I get sick of it as well. I hate it. So it's nice to see a movie just throw all that crap out the door. And then of course you have the obvious tethers. Like the tethers, the obviously represent dual natures. So that's pretty out there. Then aside from all that, I've actually got something right here that I want to talk about explicitly. It's the use of rap music in the film.
Pretty good.
I wanted to note this because rap music in general has always been something that's kind of been, and they do it in the film, it's been mainstreamed but not changed from its roots.
Yes.
It's been streamlined, but its negativities that would normally sound off in a suburban family's head are kind of pushed to the side in favor of the jovial flow of the beat. Basically, like, what we have here is while the family enjoys the beat and rhythm, like in the car where they're listening to, like, I got 5 on it.
That's a classic right there.
Really good song right there. And the dad's like, this is a classic. I really like this. This is my jam.
And then they talk about the lyrics.
Yeah, and they're all talking about the lyrics. And so basically, like, they ignore and push away the negative meaning beneath it. Like when the son asks, what does having 5 on it mean?
Yeah.
And the daughter's
like, drugs.
The dad says, hush up with all that.
Don't do drugs.
It's not about that.
It's about the beat.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
It's basically hiding away and shoving away the intentional, the actual purpose behind the song. I actually say right here, it's something often done in rap music. It's also used to draw out the hypocritical aspect of modern society. Because it's bad to curse at the table, but it's okay to vibe to a tune about drugs.
Yeah. Openly
with family.
Yeah.
I felt like that was something that was drawn out pretty well. Also, something this does go back to the duality thing, but this ties into the rap music. The artists singing the song "I Got 5 on It," they were a rap duo.
That's so dumb, but I like it.
Not as dumb as their names, but I don't want to like insult them. I don't want to get too. I don't want to get too.
You're
personal.
just gonna get drive-byed in a second.
Yeah. There's NWA's F the Police.
Mm-hmm.
Literally, as soon as the line starts, it makes me think of like the premise behind the film, coming straight from the underground. And I was like, "Are you kidding me?"
That's such good symbolism.
Oh my god! And then it's literally talking about people that have been abandoned and suppressed in like the ghetto by police,
and then they're still able to make something. They're still able to make an art form.
Get out there, we're making millions, and we're whooping your ass. I don't know, like that was just really great. That's what I was talking about in like the earlier part, in the non-spoilers, where I was like, the music, I love the soundtrack.
It does good,
and it's not just because it's a great soundtrack or it's great songs being played over great scenes. It's relevant.
Do you know what I liked about the soundtrack the most?
What's that?
Is that they use non-current songs.
That's true.
Works much better.
It does, especially with songs that are kind of timeless.
Yeah. They used a lot of timeless rap songs.
Yeah, and I really like that. And they have their own original music, like the original score.
The original score is good too.
It's pretty solid.
But the songs that they did use that had already been out, they're all classic songs.
Those do steal the show, though.
Yeah.
When those songs come on, they definitely are more memorable scenes.
I danced whenever F the Police came on.
Moving on from rap, there were just like 1 or 2 more things I've got right here. Oh man, I forgot. Duality, like the theme of duality again. Scissors.
I'm kind of mad they didn't play Duality by Slipknot.
I'm surprised they didn't play something like Double you know what? Never mind. That would have been too on the nose.
That's too much.
That's too much. But Scissors. That was a big symbol in the movie. Because I'm sitting here wondering, like, why did they pick scissors?
Because it's 2 exact pieces that come together to form one thing.
Exactly. And so I thought that was really cool. And then the last thing here, I swear to God, it's not about duality. Yeah, it was just the last. I swear, it was just the last thing I noticed was that it's an interesting tidbit early on in the film. when the little boy is like hiding around the house,
scaring people.
he's like scaring his sister or whatever, and he hides in a closet that he props open with a toy ambulance.
Yes.
And it does. That scene comes into play later, like what
then
happens
they're
with that
in
toy
an
ambulance,
later.
and then
They're
they end the movie in an ambulance. So I was just like, "Are you kidding me, Jordan Peele?
You're so good at this.
Why are you doing this to me? It's not fair. I can't process
It's too
all
much.
this at once." Those are just kind of like all the little tidbits
things.
and things I noticed. I don't know if you noticed anything, or if there's anything about the film you particularly wanted to discuss.
I very much enjoyed the small symbolisms. I thought my favorite scene is when they're fighting at the end,
Right.
and one is dodging, and the other one is getting more and more sporadic and bleeding.
Okay. Can I just say, though, in relation to that, if that chick really wanted her dead, she could have had her dead already.
Yeah, but she's playing with her.
Because I mean, seriously, she's dodging every blow.
She's stabbing her.
She's stabbing her.
She doesn't go for a fatal one, though.
At all.
She goes for the side one, and that's probably the worst.
I mean, she has, throughout the film, multiple advantages.
Has her handcuffed.
I mean, even has an instance where she's literally got the drop on her.
Mm-hmm.
It can surprise her, and then that is somehow how she gets caught off guard and gets stabbed.
Small stuff.
That's what I'm talking about, though. Like when you hold certain things under a microscope and you scrutinize them,
Small
the
things fall
same thing
apart.
you do with Get Out,
Mm-hmm.
it just falls apart.
Yeah,
I feel like the main thing in Get Out that just falls apart is its science.
yeah.
Its science is not solid.
But that's all it's got.
But the science is not like the draw of the
Mhm.
movie.
Yeah. In this, the philosophical takes place over the substance in the movie.
Right. Like, I'm not one of those people that's going to sit there and criticize the film because I'm like, it doesn't explain everything.
Everything, but there's little stuff.
Yeah. Like, I don't need them to sit there and tell me, like, what branch of the government came out and started this organization.
And why they aren't feeding the rabbits.
And
or
who
how
were
they're-
they, and what was their backstory.
Right.
Like, I don't need all that.
It does a good job already.
Yeah, like it does just saying, honestly, it might suck in, retrospectively saying this, but we live in a society where you can just say the government did it, and
That's okay.
nobody asks
Especially
questions.
if you say the American government did it.
Yeah, and then we'll believe anything. Like,
It's just the time
really?
we're in.
Still give it an 8 out of 10.
9.
So I don't know. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right. So thank you guys for checking out this video. Let us know what you guys think about the movie in the comments below.
Very much enjoyed the movie.
Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and take care. We'll see you guys later.
It's a good little edit right there.
Okay, so you ready to not be a...
No.
Just kidding.
Just go off the tracks.